Video notes for Chapter 2, Lesson 1, Solving One-Step Equations. Pause the video anytime to write on your copy of the notes or go back to review any concepts that are discussed. Vocabulary review. Multiplicative inverse means the same as reciprocal. Any number times its reciprocal or multiplicative inverse is equal to 1. Additive inverse, any number plus its additive inverse is equal to 0. Number 1, circle the multiplicative inverse of 1/2. What number times 1/2 would equal 1? Underline the additive inverse of 1/2. What number added to 1/2 would equal 0? Okay. Number 2, circle the multiplicative inverse of -3. What number times -3 would equal 1? Underline the additive inverse of -3. What number plus -3 would be equal to 0? As an example, I'll show you the work. That is the multiplicative inverse. Now, the additive inverse. (1/2) plus (-1/2) is equal to 0. Vocabulary builder. Isolate. To isolate a variable in an equation means you get the variable with the coefficient of 1 alone on one side of the equation. In the box, you can see an example. When the variable is isolated, you see x equals 12. When the variable is not isolated, do you see the 5 and the x together? That means the coefficient of x is 5. You want the coefficient of x to be equal to 1. Use your vocabulary. Number 3, choose the correct form of the word isolate to complete each statement. Isolate, isolation, isolated. A very ill patient was placed in blank away from the other patients. The correct word, isolation. In order to variable, you may need to perform mathematical operations. The correct form is isolate. A person living on a small island felt from the rest of the world. The correct form, isolated. Circle the equations that show the variable isolated. Notice the variable is alone with the coefficient ghost 1. Number 5. Use the table in your book on page 87 to help you complete this table. Addition property of equality. For any real numbers A, B, C, if A is equal to B, then A plus C would be equal to B plus C. As an example, n minus 7 equals 12. You can add 7 to both sides of the equation, and you will satisfy the addition property of equality. Subtraction property of equality. For any real numbers A, B, and C, if A and B are equal, then A minus C is equal to B minus C. As an example, n plus 8 equals 9. The opposite of adding 8 is subtracting 8 to both sides of the equation. Example problem number 1, solving an equation using subtraction. What is the solution of y plus 2 is equal to negative 6? Check your answer. Number 6, underline the correct word to complete each sentence. The equation y plus 2 equals negative 6 shows which one? Addition or subtraction? The correct answer is addition. The inverse of that operation is which? Addition or subtraction? The inverse of addition, subtraction. Addition and subtraction are opposites. Number 7, use justifications to solve the equation. Y plus 2 equals negative 6. The justification for that is right, the original equation. Then you have y plus 2. The opposite of adding 2 to y is subtracting 2, and it has to happen on both sides. Subtract 2 from each side. You are using the subtraction property of equality. Y is equal to negative 8. The justification for that step is simplify. Number 8, check your answer by substituting it into the original equation for y. Then simplify. Does negative 8 plus 2 equal negative 6? True? Yes. Y equals negative 8 is a solution to that equation, y plus 2 equals negative 6. Pause the video and use the table on page 89 to help you complete this table in your notes. The multiplication property of equality. For any real numbers A, B, and C, if A is equal to B, then A times C is equal to B times C. As an example, x divided by 5 is equal to 10. Dividing by 5, the opposite of that is multiplying by 5, both sides of the equation. Division property of equality. For any real numbers A, B, and C, if C is not equal to 0 and if A is equal to B, then A divided by C is equal to B divided by C. As an example, 6x equal to 30. That is a multiplication equation. The opposite of multiplication is division. You can divide both sides of the equation by 6. Problem 3, solving an equation using division. What is the solution of 10 is equal to negative 15x? Check your answer. Number 10, the equation is solved below. Write a justification for each step. Pause the video right now and write in your notes. The first step justification is write the original equation. Okay? The second step of the equation is using the division property of equality. You are dividing both sides of the equation by negative 15. Your answer, negative 2/3 x. The justification for that step is simplify. You are simplifying 10 over negative 15. Simplifies to negative 2/3. Number 11, check your answer. Substitute in negative 2/3 for x. 10, is it equal to negative 15 times 2/3? Let's do the math. The answer checks out. 10 is equal to 10. Problem 4, solving an equation using multiplication. What is the solution of 19 is equal to r over 3? Number 12, underline the correct word and number to complete the sentence. To isolate the variable, you should multiply or divide each side of the equation by 3 or 19. Which one? Because 3 is on the same side as r, the variable, you will use 3 to multiply each side of the equation. When you isolate the variable, what answer do you get? R divided by 3. The opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying by 3. The solution is R equals 57. Problem number 5, solving an equation using reciprocals. What is the solution of 12 is equal to 3/4 x? Check your answer. Pause the video now and answer questions number 14, 15, 16, and 17. Number 14, underline the correct word to complete the sentence. To solve the equation, you either divide or multiply each side of the equation by the reciprocal 3/4. Remember, dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 3/4 is what? 4/3. Number 16, use the reciprocal of 3/4 to solve 12 is equal to 3/4 x, for x. Now, check your answer. Does 12 equal 3/4 times 16? Let's check. Yes, the solution checks. 12 is equal to 12. X, the answer for x is 16. Problem number 6. Pause the video now and answer question numbers 18 and 19. Using a one-step equation as a model. An online DVD rental company offers gift certificates that you can use to purchase rental plans. You have a gift certificate for $30. The plan you select costs $5 per month. How many months can you purchase with the gift certificate? Number 18, complete the model to solve the problem. Relate cost per month times number of months is amount of the gift certificate. Now we have to set up a variable. Define. M is equal to what? Number of months. Now translate English into math. Right. Cost per month, $5, times number of months, we don't know, variable M, is equal to the amount of the certificate, $30. Number 19, solve the equation to find the number of months you can purchase. Final step is to write an English sentence to answer the question, how many months can you purchase with a gift certificate? Now it's time for the lesson check. Do you understand? Vocabulary. Which property of equality would you use to solve 3 plus x is equal to negative 34? Why? Number 20, what operation does the equation 3 plus x equals 34 show? The equation shows addition. Number 21, which property of equality would you use to solve 3 plus x is equal to negative 34? The opposite of addition is subtraction. The property you would use is the subtraction property of equality. Now, in the blue box, you see math success. Look at the vocabulary words and check them off if you understand what they mean. At the bottom, rate yourself. How much do you know about the properties of equality? 0, I need to review, all the way to 10, champ, I know it. If you score yourself at 6 or less, you need to go back and review this video. Thank you.